Hello and welcome back to Sakura's Spirit. In the last episode, the peace treaty between the fox girls and the village guards were more or less signed. At least they decided all but Takahiro and Namiro to get drunk on sake together. Takahiro then took the guard captain Miyo out into a hot springs where she, due to the effect of the alcohol, were more talkative than usual. As Narumi made it back, she giggled a bit at them and teased them a bit, though Takahiro swore that nothing had happened, despite him thinking quite vicariously about seeing Miyo naked. Narumi then asked Takahiro to go and check on the foxes. Let's continue. I quickly changed into the robes that I had burrowed and made my way back to the main hall. As I expected, I found Machiko curled up on the floor. Thankfully, it looked like she had made her way to Meiko and was cuddled up next to her. The two girls looked adorable, and their cute mumbling only made it all the more enjoyable to watch. I considered waking them up so we could return to the mansion, but the sound of my name interrupted my train of thoughts. Walking out into the garden beyond the room, beyond to the wooden deck, I found the village elder sitting on the grass looking up at the stars. Young man, are the stars here as beautiful in your world? I walked over to him, lay flat down against the grass, finally allowing myself a rest. I looked up at the night sky and smiled. You know, I never really got a good look at them. I'm always busy with this or that. I yawned loudly and felt my eyelids getting heavy as I wiggled around a bit in an effort to get comfortable. Perhaps you should, if you get back, that is. The previous elder once told me that all worlds share the same sky. It sounded silly to me, but maybe there is something to it. It does look similar, sparkly and black. Maybe he was right. The elder remained silent for a while. When he spoke again, I could barely make out what he said, sleepiness taking over. Before long, I drifted off to sleep beneath the starry sky. How long do you think he's been out there? Must have been a while. His clothes are soaked with morning dew. As I drifted back into consciousness, I heard Narumi and Miyo talking nearby. Their voices sounded hushed, as though they were far away. I briefly considered jumping up and scaring them, but my body was not going to let me. Maybe you should poke him? Hikage, there is no need for that. Takahiro-san, wake up, you lazy slop. I groaned as my eyes finally opened, the early rays of the rising sun making me raise a hand to conceal my eyes from the bright light. I was usually quite the morning person, but having fallen asleep under the starry sky, I wasn't exactly in familiar surroundings. Did the Valkyrie come to take me off to Valhalla? He's talking gibberish. Do you intend to lie around all morning, or do you plan on being useful? There are warrior angels who came down from the heavens to pick up the souls of the fallen warriors who fought for heroic battles. Not that I plan on dying on any time soon. You're no warrior, neither is Narumi. Did you become an even bigger idiot overnight? This is exactly why I need to train you both. None of you are warriors yet, but with my help you'll both become fine, noble warriors capable of handling anything. I liked her more when she was drunk. It'll be an honor to learn from you, Sensei. Yes, ma'am. Maybe Takahiro could teach us both some of his moves. Teehee. An excellent suggestion, Narumi. I believe he's a competent fighter, and learning more than simply how to use a weapon, but to fight without one too, would be a very convenient skill to have. However, work cannot begin like this. You need to get changed, eat, and wake up. Get to it. But the grass here is kind of soft, and the view is pretty nice. Yeah, but if we leave, these mountains will disappear. That's a convincing argument, Narumi-chan. But I wonder, which mountain would be most difficult to climb? Mount Miyo or Mount Narumi? Enough of this idiotic banter, you bumbling buffoon of a boy! Miyo-sensei, can I ask you something? What is it? We've been overwhelmed by the power of your Sun. Could you please bless us with your dere once in a while? You'd like that too, wouldn't you, Narumi-chan? You might need to explain that. I don't really know what that means. Sorry, Takahiro-kun. Never mind. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying, she should be less of a meanie pants and show us a bit of love and affection. What happened to motivating your troops? Meanie pants? Will you stop making such ridiculous comments? I ought to slap some respect into you. Angry Miyo. I kind of miss the Miyo I saw at the hot springs yesterday. That was something completely unrelated. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop saying such embarrassing things. Jeez. A personality disorder? What? As if one wasn't bad enough, you're saying we got 2 Miyos wandering around? Just wait, Narumi-chan. We soon will have a whole army of Miyos. Stop it, shut up, both of you, right this instant. This is getting ridiculous. The girl, who was now blushing brightly, turned her back to me and stormed off with a huff, her arms crushed in dignity. I guess I'd better get up before she decides to return and kick me into gear. Thanks for the wake-up call, Narumi-chan. After apologizing to Miyo, explaining that it was merely a joke, the girl had decided that she wanted to train each of us personally. We both waited for Miyo to show up for the first part of the program, which was to take place in the town square. It reminded me a bit of a training camp at the dojo, although I had the feeling that this was about to turn out to be more fun. As we waited, I noticed that preparations were being made for what looked like a festival. I asked Narumi about it, and she told me that it was the annual celebration happening a few days from now. As we chatted, Miyo turned up, sword in hand and a faint smirk on her face. Perfect. It seems like you're ready. If there's something every warrior needs, is strength and discipline. With this in mind, let us start with running laps around the village. Oh no, not laps. That's all? Yes, and those who slack off will be punished. Now run. Without any warning, Miyo drew her sword and pointed it at the two of us. Cringing, Narumi tugged at my arm, making it clear that our teacher wasn't joking. Let's get down to it, shall we? Oh no, she's enjoying this far too much. We will defeat those spirits. Oh boy. Quit your yapping and get to running, unless you're eager to feel the edge of my sword. Yeah, she's totally enjoying. Come on, Takahiro-kun, let's get going. She's not going to be reasoned with like this. She's a freaking drill sergeant. As I started to run alongside Narumi, I decided to finally take the exercise seriously. All things considered, I was surprised at the pace Narumi was running at. Even though I felt like I could brag a bit about my own physical strength, her stamina was clearly superior to mine. After several hours of running, I found myself on my back. My breathing was ragged and heavy, while Narumi was still standing upright, although visibly exhausted judging from her panting. Miyo had also been keeping up with us, and while she was panting too, she still looked fit to fight and ready to go. Do you do this every day? Not every day, no. Otherwise we would not get no patrolling done, but I cannot fault you for your spirit. You both did well. That was harder than anything we've ever done before. I wouldn't be surprised if Miyo-san ends up being the final boss one day. Your strength and stamina are clearly beyond human capabilities. Clearly, maybe she's some kind of spirit here to be mean on us on a superhuman level. Narumi, how would you like to run 10 more laps around the village? No, I'm sorry, Great Miyo, please forgive me, I was just kidding. You think we'll be allowed a break if we pray to the almighty guardian spirit of this village? I eyed Miyo as I attempted to hold back my smile, clapping my hands together in a prayer. Narumi giggled and followed my example. Oh, mighty Miyo-sama, you who watch over this village, please bless us with a short break, and maybe a lot of money and a beautiful wife, and... Okay, a break is fine. You two idiots want a break that badly? Fine, I have an idea. Elder-sama needs his bath cleaned. That ought to loosen you up for the next part of the training. You hear that, Narumi-chan? We get to play at the hot springs. Yay! Clapping my hands one final time, I took Narumi and Miyo's hands by surprise and dragged the two girls toward the village elder's house. What are you doing? Let go of me right this instant! Miyo-san, it won't do you any good to be serious like that all the time. Let's have some fun! The three of us quickly reached the hot springs and were soon preparing to begin our work. However, it didn't take long for the somewhat serious cleaning to turn into a series of silly games, as I started chasing Narumi around with a soap-soaked sponge, shouting in a nefarious tone, I am the soap monster! Prepare to be washed, foolish warrior! Ah, no! The evil soap spirit has appeared! Do not fear, citizens of Hot Springs Village! Yeah! The girl grabbed her mop and thrust it forward, brandishing it like Miyo would have her katana. I am the village protector! Sundari you no Miyo! I will vanquish all who oppose me! Will you two stop messing around? We have work to do.
It's the dreadful Miyo, nemesis of all spirits. Today is the day you fall.
Yeah, never! I will defend this place until my last breath. Ha! Brandishing her mop in a candid fashion, she clearly didn't mean to do any real harm. Using my sponges, I batted it away with ease.
Then today shall be your last.
I told you to knock it off. I laughed menacingly with a playful push from Narumi caught me off guard. I staggered backwards, my foot slipping on a bar of soap. With a startled yelp of surprise, I felt myself topple over backwards, bumping into Miyo. As I lost my balance completely, I let go of the sponge, sending it flying towards Narumi, who caught it on the face. I moved forwards to apologize to the woman, when from behind me I heard a yelp and a loud splash. Uh-oh. I don't want to look, do I? As I slowly turned around, my fears seemed to have been confirmed. Pulling herself from the water was Miyo, soaked from head to toe. The anger that radiated off of her made her look like the devil himself. You two. I'm sorry. It was Takahiro's fault. He started it. Traitor, you can't blame me for. My eyes caught sight of Miyo's clothes, which I finally noticed had turned see-through. I bet he did it so he could see you soaking wet like last night. That wasn't part of the plan. What plan? He's joking. It was a joke. Seriously, Takahiro-kun and I were just playing around. It was an accident. Please forgive us. Yeah, you should forgive us. We were just having a bit of fun. We didn't mean to have it turn out like this. He's right. I told you both not to play around. I told you both to keep working. Hikage, I will deal with you later. Leave. Takahiro, you need to be punished now. What? That's not fair. It was an accident. It was an honor to have fought alongside you, Narumi-tan. My will has not yet been written, but I leave all of my belongings to anyone who wants it. I'm not leaving. If you're going to punish him, punish me too. Besides, I bet you're only doing this because you want to spend more time with him. What? That's ridiculous. Whatever gave you that idea? I don't even like him. Besides, you're the one who's spending too much time with him. Hold on. What are you talking about? Ha! You admit it. You're jealous because I get to spend more time with him than you do. Busted! That's complete nonsense. I just want to spar with him. Shut up, Narumi. Takahiro, prepare yourself. We're going to spar right now, without Narumi and her big butt interrupting us. Hey, now I know you're jealous. My figure is divine. Spar? Right here, right now, but you're soaked. A warrior should not worry about such things. Battles can be fought in the lashing rain or beneath the burning sun, but they must be fought. She just wants to show off her goods. I'm going to regret this. I sighed deeply as I took on a combative stance, certain that something was going to end up going wrong. Soaked as she was, fighting against me, someone who uses grapples and throws, she was practically asking for trouble. This is a perfect opportunity. Sometimes your greatest strength can become your own worst enemy. Get in here, Takahiro. We'll spar it like this, knee-deep in water. This will be a fine test of your skills. The girl made her way to the edge of the water and grabbed a discarded mop. It took a lot of willpower not to glance at her soaked figure as her clothes clung to her body. I eventually made it into the water, taking a defensive stance as she moved towards the back of the center of the pool. Narumi, if you interfere, I will inform Elder Samura of the fate of his dearly beloved old teddy bear. The one you used as a la, no one has to hear anything, fine, I'll stay put. You need someone to haul your body from the water once Takehiro's done with you anyway. Isn't that blackmail? Oh, it's blackmail all right. Now, prepare yourself. The attack came a lot faster than I had anticipated. The wooden shaft aimed squarely at my midsection and hit me straight and hard, knocking me back a few steps. I hissed at the pain of the impact spread, flexing my arms out. Miyo sloshed forward, waves of water splashing aside as she stomped onward. I pushed myself upwards, dodging another strike to my left. Go, Takahiro-kun! I moved in closer, trying to make her thrust less effective, and thanks to the length of the mop handle, I aimed a blow towards her shoulder. To my surprise, she took the hit without moving an inch. If you're not going to put everything you have into this, you might as well stop calling yourself a man. My eyes narrowed a little, and I pulled back as wide a wide strike sword slammed into my side. Growling, I felt my anger flare. I quickly lashed out, smacking the mop handle away forcefully, and used the opportunity to get close once more. I managed to land a few jabs against the midsection and one to her shoulder before darting backwards as best I could in the water. She appeared winded for a moment or two before she spun them up in her hands, pushing forward again. Takahiro-kun! 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 Her next strike was a downward slash, which I caught between my hands. With a grin, I pulled hard on the stick and flung my foot upwards in an attempt to land a kick. She did the only sensible thing and let go of the mop, which let me toss it aside with ease. A swordswoman without her sword can hope to beat an experienced martial artist. This match is lost. Surrender. I suppose I have no choice. As soon as she said that, she spun around, lashing her leg upwards in a roundhouse kick that caught my jaw, knocking me back, almost landing me on my rear. Overconfidence gets you killed. The fight isn't over until your opponent is down. She stood in front of me, her fist raised in a stance I did not recognize. If she was quicker without a weapon than with, I did not stand a chance of beating her. Her kicks were powerful, as the age in my jaw reminded me, and she had plenty of stamina to go off. The only way I could stop her was to use that. That's not the only way to win a fight, you know. I stepped forward purposefully. I didn't need to attack her, just get close. A few steps and I had her right where I needed her, cornered and unable to get past me. I took another step and she darted to one side, trying to get past my blockade. I looped an arm around her waist and braced myself for the counterattack I knew would follow. My left leg applied pressure against her knees, sending her down onto them, while my other arm grabbed her arms high above her head, my weight pressed down against her body. No! Yay! Takahiro couldn't use the submission hold! I held her tightly, but not enough to cause pain. All I had to do was lower my right hand, which in return would put pressure on her body. I did so, slowly, showing her just what she was up against. Do you give up? Fine, you win. I grinned wildly, chuckling to myself. I slowly helped her to her feet, gradually releasing my hold. Try not to struggle when I release you, otherwise... But it was too late. Before I had the chance to warn her about the problem with that particular hold, she pulled away from my grip. The angle of her arms and the tightness of my arm around her waist caused her clothes to tighten as she pulled away. Blood circulation had a tendency of getting cut off, occasionally causing people to faint. In this case, however, it was her clothes that paid the price for her impatience. As the girl turned to face me, her clothes tore, scattering into tiny pieces into the wind. Time seemed to slow to a halt as Miyo looked down at herself, let out a scream and just barely managed to cover herself. Miyo! You... I tried to warn you. I swear this isn't some kind of secret judo technique. You... Stay back. Narumi? Yes, Miyo-chan? Please get me a change of clothes. Yes, right away. I'll be back soon as possible, I promise. For some reason, I feel less like a hero and more like a villain here. Narumi quickly rushed off, leaving Miyo and myself to ourselves. It felt different from last night. It felt like I was walking on thin ice, as though one wrong word and she would begin to resent me the same way she resented spirits. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean for it to end up like this. It was an accident. So, you found my weakness? Huh? No, I swear it was just an accident. That hole usually only makes your clothes tighter. Not that I can't move. I have perfected every area being cool and unrelented, except nakedness. It's embarrassing. I don't think you'd have anything to hide. I mean, you should be proud of your body. It's not that. The thought of people staring at me, it makes me feel dizzy, like I can barely think. I actually admire that about Narumi. She doesn't have a single ounce of shame in her. Well, I think Narumi-chan would be the exception. Most girls would probably get embarrassed at being seen naked. I'm sure Narumi-chan will be here with your clothes soon. I'm not most girls. I shouldn't get incapacitated this easily. It's infuriating. I lose all control of myself. I'm not sure, but maybe it's something you'll be able to train. A weakness to overcome. Can we do it now? Perhaps if you see... She began stammering uncontrollably, blushing from ear to ear, unable to finish her sentence. I began to panic. I have never seen a girl get this worked up before. I think it would be better if you asked Narumi-chan about that. But that won't work. I don't get like this when there are only girls around. I guess, but I felt as though every male in both worlds were cursing me for my indecisiveness. At this very moment, a pretty girl stood before me, suggesting that I look at her naked, all for the sake of making her less embarrassed in the future. How could I call myself a man if I declined such an invitation? But, are you really okay with, me? I can't think of anyone else to do it. Please, Takahiro, look at me. Was this really happening? If it was, this was the best type of training I had ever experienced. As Miyo began to move her arm, I turned my head. Fortunately, at that very moment, the door slammed open, and in walked Meiko and Machiko wrapped in towels. It was nice of Elder-sama to allow us to use the bathroom. It would be nice to Takahiro! Yeah, Takani and the Sunra tyrant are doing naughty things. Wait, this is not what it looked like. Ah! And with that, the girl fainted again, slipping into the water before I had a chance to react. It took a considerable amount of effort to convince the others that nothing unholy had taken place. Thanks to Narumi's testimony, coupled with Miyo's apparent habit of freezing, they believed me. However, as I turned to leave, Narumi dragged me off to the side. It seemed like she wanted me to come see her later that evening in return for saving my hide. I couldn't really see a way for me to weasel out of that, so I reluctantly agreed. That evening, I excused myself and made my way to Narumi's home, knocking lightly on the door. Hey, Narumi-chan, are you there? Just a moment, the door's open, but don't come in yet. Curious, I found myself wondering what the girl had planned. Perhaps she was preparing a meal or something to surprise me with. Some sort of present, or maybe she wanted to talk. Whatever the reason might have been, Narumi's voice once again sounded from within the house. Okay, you can come in now, Takahiro-kun. Feeling kind of excited, I opened the door and walked in, the door sliding shut behind me. The room was darker than I remembered, and it occurred to me to hunt for a light. Foolishly, I began searching for a light switch when I remembered that something like that was unlikely to exist here. I managed to locate a small lamp and a nearby box of matches, lighting it with ease. Turn around, Takahiro-kun. I turned around and my eyes bulged. Before me was Narumi, only she seemed to be dripping. Taking in the view, I let out a shriek. For a moment I expected to see the slime girl, but then I noticed the smell of chocolate in the air. Please tell me you're not possessed by some kind of chocolate spirit. I instinctively found my eyes drifting along in Narumi's chocolate-coated figure, trying to find any sign that a spirit could be involved. When I found none, I found myself growing increasingly nervous. Of course not, silly. Don't you like it? Don't you think it suits me all sweet and delicious? Well, I mean, you're sweet and all, but and not just because of the chocolate. What in the world happened? Oh boy. Thank you. Don't worry about the little details. Don't you want a taste? Taste? Yeah, that was I was told anyway. You put something tasty on your body and let someone else eat it. That's how you get close to people in your world, right? I think it was called Hold on. Did someone tell you to do this? Because you do realize there's no way this won't turn into I stuttered as Narumi stepped closer, her pose causing me to swallow, trying my best to resist the temptation. At this rate, getting a stomach... What? You can't just put stomach ache and stomach together like this. It's not a stomach. It doesn't work like that. Anyway. At this rate, getting a stomach ache from eating all that chocolate would be the least of my worries. What's wrong, Takahiro-kun? Don't you want to be friends? Or don't you like chocolate? I have some honey too, if you prefer that. I love chocolate, but I don't think honey will be any better. I don't get it. What's wrong? Is it because of me? I bet if Miyo or Chi-chan did something like that, you'd be eating away right now. The day Miyo-san coats herself in chocolate is the day pigs fly. Yeah, she'd never do something like this, but I still don't get why you're not enjoying this. Did I do something wrong? Narumi-chan. You see, this is usually something people do when, you know... wow. So I guess... Wow, I messed up pretty big, didn't I? I'm going to kick that shrine spirit's butt the next time I see her. Wait, shrine spirit? Did Tsuyuri put you up to this? Yes, she told me this would help us bond or something. Well, I guess we shouldn't let all that chocolate go to waste. Narumi, I need to talk to you about... What the hell is going on in here? Your vice captain is possessed by a chocolate spirit. Chocolate. Do I look like an idiot? This is because of earlier, isn't it? No, it's not. I promise. Someone just gave me a really bad advice. Really? Well, then allow me to give you some good advice. Go and get yourself cleaned up. Now, before anyone else sees you like this. Honestly, you are the face of this village. You could have been called to defend it at any moment. Do you think yourself capable in a state like this? I think most people would. I am not finished! Narumi, you are sleeping in my spare room tonight. Takahiro, clean up this mess. If you do not complete this task before morning, you will not get to sleep. And if you do not complete this task before breakfast, you will not be getting any breakfast. That's a bit unfair, isn't it? Aside the shouting and angry glares from the samurai girl, making me feel a bit too intimidated to decline her demands. As she marched the dejected and still covered chocolate-coated girl out of the house, shielding her with an old robe, I took a look around. It was going to take me hours to get rid of all this chocolate. If Ichikawa ever finds out about this, he's going to give me hell. And that's where we'll end this episode. So, we got the whole being covered in some kind of fluid from head to toe is a pretty standard thing for all the Sakura novels. It is almost as sure as someone tripping over and landing headfirst in a cleavage, essentially. Right, well, things are going relatively well, for Takahiro. At least he's not... at least he's getting used to this world, and at least he have made peace between the village and the fox spirits. So, until next time, take care.